Hi y'all, it's Pam from Pink Dragonfly Wings, and here we are with Magic Monday, week number 2. So, what we're going to make today, remember that we are making ephemera for our 2022 junk journal. This is mine. We've already done 1 week. This was week 1. So we're going to work on a little notebook today for week 2. Now this is not a bound notebook. It's just tied. Just a cute little notebook. You can slip it in a pocket. You could glue it down. You can, wherever you want to put it. So that's the prototype. And we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 8 pages of coffee dyed paper in here and a book page. So let's get started. Now this is one that I had already torn. I tore the page in half, so I had an extra here, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you how I did this. So get my little tearing ruler and we're going to tear this book page. It's just a regular book page. In fact, it's one of the book pages out of the cover that I used for my 2022 junk journal. So it's about, let's see, about 6 inches by 9 inches. And we're going to cut it off right here at the words. And we're going to tear this off, and it's kind of hard to tear actually because the book pages are kind of old. And when you don't have a lot to hold on to here, it makes it just a little bit harder to pull. So, but we're going to get it. I may have to use our scissors to cut the rest of that, but that's okay. Right up here at the top where the words begin. Gonna also tear that off. Well, if I can get a hold of it, I will. We'll cut that off. Even it up a little bit. That one tore a lot better. And then right down here at the bottom of the words. It's a little bigger piece, so. Now then I'm going to get my, I think this paper that I have behind me may be part of the problem. We're going to just touch up the edges of this just ever so slightly. And the top. No big deal. It doesn't have to be measured and even. We just don't want it to stick out too much. Now then. Put all that in the trash. Now we're going to fold this in half this way. And this is going to be how tall our book is going to be. Okay? So we're going to make 2 out of a page. And when we finish, this is going to be 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. So 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. Now, I'm going to make this one another book. If we have time, we might make 2. But for right now, we're going to fold this. Well, before we fold it, this book paper is old and it's kind of brittle. So I got a piece of coffee dyed paper here. And I am just going to glue this on the inside. I think that will fit pretty close. And it just gives a little extra substance to our page to make it not quite so brittle. So we're going to get some of our art glitter glue and just go around the edges on what you want to be the inside of your little book. And then we'll put our paper on here. It's a little off right up here in the corner, but that'll be all right. It's still got the main part of our book page covered. And I know once upon a time, at some point, here we go, I had a bone folder. So we will burnish this down really good. One, to spread the glue evenly, and also to get it out to the edges where we didn't quite get it. Then instead of trying to do it with this, I can try. Let's see how it works if we use this little handy dandy ruler. But this is working okay. But I think that's going to take forever. So let's just go ahead and use our little handy dandy scissors here. Like I said, it doesn't have to be even. This on the bottom is not too bad. I don't know if there was enough there to cut off, so there we go. Cut our nubbins off, throw those in the trash. Then we can go ahead and ink this. I use Vintage Photo Distress ink. This is not the oxide, it's just the regular distress ink. And we're just going to go right around the edges, kind of dirty those up just ever so slightly. We'll turn it over and do the other side. There we go. Okay, now we're going to fold it in half, and since we put it in the center of our words, then the space here between the columns in our page should be right in the middle. So we'll go through here and ink that up a little bit on the outside, both sides. And then just for grins, we'll do it on the inside too. We don't want one side to get jealous of the other. Okay. So there we go. There's our little book cover. Now you can go ahead and put some ink out here if you want to. I will probably make a pocket for this to go in, or it could be even a clip-on that you have in your journal. But that's going to be our little book. So we'll put that over there. We'll get our coffee dyed paper, and I'm going to fold it in half as best I can. And our book is, once again, it is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. So we need to make our book pages the 4 1/4, but let's make it about 1/4 of an inch less so that we have plenty of room at the top and the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and fold this into 4. Okay. Now then, we'll pull this off. And I'm going to do it, I think, all at one time, all 4 pages at once. And we'll do it on this side. Tell you what, let's do it on this side. And if any of you watched my first video, we talked about my clothing that I use when I do videos. And I usually use kind of junk clothes. Let's see, here we go. 4, this is 5. We want it was 4 3/4. We want it to be 4 1/2. So let's mark 4 1/2 right there. Go ahead and tear that off. And then 3 1/2 was our height, and we need it to be 3 1/4. Tear those off, and those will be the pages for our little book. Now we're going to fold them in half. Let's see. And those will fit in there just perfectly. Cool. Okay, so we're going to fold them in half. We'll ink around the edges. Just a little bit of ink around on the edges. We don't have to have a whole lot because this is going to be our writing space. Anyway, back to my clothing. I decided to wear a nice shirt today, so y'all don't think I dress like a bum all the time. So I put on a pretty shirt today. Tomorrow, it'll probably be back to the good old t-shirt, because I just don't have to worry about it when I've got my old t-shirts on. And you know, I'm retired. When there's 4 feet of snow outside, you tend to not go anywhere much. So there's one page. So I don't have to dress up too much. My husband and I do have date night one night a month, or one night a week, and we both dress up when we go to that. So it works. So let's get this one inked up. Get these going pretty good. There's our second page. So I hope everybody's 2022 has started off wonderfully and things are better. I know they're going to be better this year. I have faith that we are going to be better. It is going to get better. Turn this over. We'll do the other side. This is really simple to make. In fact, this is probably the part that takes the longest, is inking around all of these little pages. And you don't have to do that if you don't want to. I just like inking, and I like the look of inked pages, especially for a junk journal. Boy, I'm having a hard time talking tonight. Just because it kind of gives it that old antique flair, like old pages from a book. And I really, really like that look. You know, I scrapbooked for years and just thought I loved scrapbooking until I got into junk journaling. And there's just something about working with old papers and making things that are old and worn out and apparently to most people useless and ready for the trash, and taking that item and making something beautiful and wondrous out of it, to me is just so fascinating and so much fun. So, okay, there are 4 pages, and we've put them together like this. They're not all even, and that's fine. We're going to put them in here. And I have some twine here. This is kind of like baker's twine. I use this a lot. And what we're going to do is leave a tail here, and we're going to wrap it around this way. Wrap it, we might need to leave a little longer tail. Wrap it around this way 2 times. Pull it back to the center. Make sure it's tight. We want it to be pretty and tight. Turn it over on the back. And find some decent scissors here. And then we're going to tie this. And the way that I tie it, you can't pull it real taut because it will cut right through that paper. But make it tight enough to be snug. And then we're going to make 1 knot. If we can keep all of our strings. This is kind of like getting chickens in a row, ducks in a row. Okay. And then we're going to lift up both strings, put this one under here, and this one under the other side. And we're going to tie another knot. And this will secure those 2 strings together. And if you want to, you can put a little piece of glue down in there and hold it just a little tighter, but you don't really have to. And you can tie this in a bow, or you can leave it and let it dangle. On this one, on the prototype, I just tied a little dragonfly charm on the end of it, so we can certainly do that. And there's our little book with our 8 pages. And it's not secure. They can fall out, but that's okay. This is just an old way of doing it. Let's make sure that this one is even and not folded crooked. And there we go. And then now let's see what we can find to put on the front of it. How about maybe some kind of flower? We did a mushroom on the prototype. We don't want them to all be mushrooms. So we can do some pretty flowers. What about that? That's pretty. First page. Blue's not really my thing, not really my color, but that's a cool picture. Just a little, kind of like that. We may have to tear it down a little bit, but I like that. It's a little flower coming up in the concrete, and it's resilient, showing our resilience. Okay, pull a little bit more of this off. And I just tore the edges of this because I don't know why. I just did. And kind of ink the edges around a little bit, cover up that stark white edge. It's just printed on cardstock. Some picture I found somewhere along the way, I don't know. but isn't that pretty? And we'll take this one, take our glue, and unstick it first because I always forget to put the pin back in it, but that's all right. It works. There we go. Oops, fixing to put it on upside down. That is one thing. Make sure on your book page that your book pages, the words are right side up. I guess you could put it down upside down if you wanted to. That would be okay. And then, let's see, it needs a little something, something. Didn't really leave enough room down here for a ribbon, but we could find just a little tiny small doily. Let's see what we can find in here. Yeah, that one would work just perfect. Put it right down there. Stretch it out. That one, in fact, may be still a little bit big. Let's see if we can find one a little smaller. I know I have some. Here's one. It's not quite so big. We can put it right down here in the corner. Let's use, since it is a doily, let's use some of our Fabrifix. This is really, really good. It's kind of a silicone glue, and I should keep it in this little Sugar Bell icing bottle. I have bad arthritis in my hands, and sometimes squeezing that hard bottle that it comes in is just really too hard for my hands. So this little Sugar Bell icing bottle is really thin, and it's a whole lot easier to work with. And then I just refill it when it gets empty. There we go. Now we have a little book ready for our journal. Okay. Now I know I said I might make another one, but I think I'm going to tie a bow in this. I promised when I started these videos that I would try to make these videos short. So I think that's what we're going to do, is we're just going to make the one. We're going to find a little place in here in our journal that we can put it. It's kind of small. That's a pretty page. And we could put it right here and just use it for our book. We could put it on the other side and have our book fold out this direction. But I really kind of like it, I think, in a pocket. I think a pocket would be a good thing to do. So let's see if we can find some kind of paper while my glue is leaking out all over everything. What I do with my napkin. Let's get that off of there before it dries, and we can still use that. That will be fine. Let it dry. What kind of something could we use for a pocket? Let's see if we have a little something in here. This is just a piece of paper. Why don't we make it and not use the glossy side? Let's use the craft paper side. Put that on here. see if we can tear with this paper. Let's see well, it doesn't matter what's on the other side, does it? Because we're not going to be looking at that side. And about yay big. This paper is a little more thick, so it's a little more, little easier to work with on this little ruler. Still managed to get on the side. There we go. And let's get our ink. I actually think it could even be a little shorter. Let's maybe make it a little shorter. Our little book is not very tall, so we don't want to put our book in our pocket and then have it just totally disappear. So put this down right here. Bottom. That right there. And we can take our little book. Slide it down in here in our pocket. Could even put a little flower on here. Let's see what else we can find in here. Maybe just some greenery. That might work. That would look pretty cool. Let's try this. And then we have to get this little doodad off of here, so. And this is one of the hardest things that I do. If anybody out there has any ideas on how to make this an easier process, please put it in the comments and let me know, because I struggle with this so much. My arthritic fingers just sometimes won't work. We'll get that put down pretty good, and there we go. And there's our little pocket. There's even room that you could put another one up here if we wanted to do another one and put it right up there at the top, or something else. So, all right, that was our little project for today. This is Magic Monday week 2, and we've done our little journal, our little tiny journal to go in our big journal. So, please make this along with me. Show off your journal. Visit me at pinkdragonflywings.com, wings with a Z, and see what other kinds of little things we have. The prototypes that I've made ahead of time on each of our projects are going to go in, well, I haven't really decided. I may put them in the store and sell them. I may keep them aside and at the end of each month maybe have a drawing and do a giveaway for your choice of whichever project we made that month. So if you have any ideas about which you'd rather do, if you'd rather me put them in the store to sell or do a giveaway and give one out to a lucky drawer, leave a comment, and we'll choose from the comment people and have a surprise. So, okay, well, thank you for joining me. Enjoy, have fun, be creative, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.